Hey, Heart Nation. Welcome to another episode of Carla's channel, Heart to Heart Inspiration. I am your host, Carla J, the Queen of Inspiration. And today, I am so honored, you all. I have my best sidekick. She is daughter number 4. yes, daughter number 4. She is a singer and songwriter. She is my baby girl. My baby girl. I love her so much. Ryan Chanel. Woo! Give it up for
Hi, everyone.
Ryan. And today, Ryan is going to be interviewing me, but it's not going to be the traditional interview style. It's really going to just be us having a conversation. When I tell you all, we laugh all the time and have a good time. So today, we just want to bring some of that to the screen.
Well, hello, everyone. My name is Ryan Chanel. This is my mom. Like she already said, I'm daughter number 4, and we're just going to jump right into it. So first off, I want to say I'm so proud of you and all the success that you've had recently. And she's been getting invited to speak at different conferences, and just the page is growing, the community is growing. And so I'm just so proud of you, Mom. She really is the queen of inspiration. She always has been for all of her children and everyone who comes into contact with her. And then also shout out to Heart Nation, because without you all, we wouldn't be here today. So with that being said, I wanted to ask you, how does it feel with all your recent success? How does it feel? You just came back from a conference, and can you elaborate on that?
Well, yes, I was invited to Atlanta to be the keynote speaker for a women's conference. And this is someone I had just met online. And she said, I love your podcast. I would like to invite you to be a keynote speaker. And I went. They embraced me with open arms. It was just such a lovely event. I want to give a big shout out to Nisa Shabazz and Adrienne Williams and her husband, Kevin, for the Aminalai Griot African Museum in Atlanta. Thank you so much for inviting me. And just a quick shout out to all the people who came to see me in Atlanta. Some people from my podcast who I never met before came out to Atlanta. They traveled to see me and be a part of the event. Thank you so much. And family as well. My aunts, my uncle, my mom and dad. Thank you all so much. And I already got asked to go back in September. Woo-hoo, so I'm excited about that. I'm just excited to share a little bit of my journey and the journeys of others to inspire other people.
I love that. That is so awesome that you all met on social media. That is one of the positives of social media, is that you get to connect with a lot of different people, and especially for opportunities such as the conference. Was it your first time in Atlanta?
I've been to Georgia before and visited family. We have family in Georgia, but it was my first time being in Atlanta, and it was just a vibe. I got a chance to visit Atlanta just a little bit because we were really in ramp up mode for the event, but I did get a chance to see some of the HBCUs there in Atlanta right around the corner from the venue. And so it was Clark Atlanta, Morehouse, and Spelman. It was like amazing, and it felt really good. I met some new people. I really felt loved from a community that I never knew, and I had love for them. When people say Atlanta is a vibe, it's true.
Thank you for sharing that. A lot of people go to Atlanta and they say the same thing that you said, that they just feel embraced as soon as they go, and they feel immersed into the culture, not only just culture itself and what it is, but also the Black culture. A lot of people say that it is the mecca for just chasing your dreams, going after your ambitions, and for acting, for modeling, for singing, just different things of that nature.
You got Tyler Perry studios out there, the Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was awesome. I'm really glad that you had that opportunity, and you did so good that they invited you back again. So that was awesome.
And I got my locks done out there. Shout out to Kiana. She sponsored me with getting my locks done by her loctician. And I went there and she did an amazing job. And then also for my makeup artist, she was from Atlanta and she did amazing. She came to the museum and did my makeup. And then also the photographer He did an amazing job as well. I know I'm just keep saying amazing, 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 but it really was. It was just, I just was blown away. It was such a good experience.
Well, I'm really glad to hear that, Carla.
And the other vendors too. I don't want to miss speaking about them as well. The other vendors were amazing, and it was just that community. No one was trying to outdo another or anything like that. We just all embraced each other and was cheering each other on.
Which is very important because in an industry, no matter which industry it is, it's very competitive and it's very clicky. So I'm glad that you're able to find the right people. What was your motivation or inspiration, I should say, for Carla's channel?
Well, I was pregnant and married in high school, went to all girls high school, and I got kicked out. I got kicked out because I was married, ironically, not because I was pregnant. But there is a policy in the handbook that says married students are not allowed to attend the high school. And so, because I had gotten married and I was pregnant, I could not complete classes in the school. I had to complete them at home, turn the homework. I could not go to prom, any of the senior activities. I couldn't walk across the stage. And all of a sudden, it was on the news. All of a sudden, people were inviting me to their talk shows. Donahue, which is before your time, but Donahue was the famous talk show during that time. He flew me and my mom and my younger sister out to New York. He interviewed me on a stage with other pregnant guests, and that was an experience within itself. And I love Donahue, just how behind the scenes he said, I'm going to ask you some tough questions because the audience needs to know. And I don't want you holding back. And so that was like my first introduction to talk show hosting or in the talk show environment. And down the line, I'm like, I really like that. It didn't happen all of a sudden because I was pregnant. I was a teenager. I was 17 and I was married. So it didn't happen at that time. But after that, I also was invited to be on Oprah Winfrey's Illinois caucus for teenage pregnancy. And that's when she was like just coming up and being big. And so I was a part of that. And then also in my hometown of Chicago, different DJs had me come on the shows as well. So that was really interesting. And after that, like years later after that, I started a live call-in TV show in Chicago, and callers would actually call in and we would talk about things. They would ask me questions, I would answer. And then I also started a nonprofit organization, and I had debates about rap music and the effects of rap music. I was just doing all types of things, but it truly has always been a passion of mine to inspire other people and to make a difference in the lives of others. But what particularly sparked me for the podcast itself was when our dear cousin Charnice was unfortunately taken from this world too soon by her partner. And I wanted to give a voice to women who were going through things like that in their relationships. Because after that happened, I started to see more and more domestic violence stories. And it just really tugged at my heart. And I said, I really want to do something and give a platform. And I didn't know where to start. I just started. And since then, it has taken me down different roads, different avenues. But at the end of the day, it's still my passion. And that's why I don't have a niche right now. I don't have just this type of person I interview. Some people may think it's just movie artists and music artists and things like that. But it's really anyone who has a story about inspiration that they want to share.
Well, thank you for sharing that. That was very touching. And I do just want to take a moment to just, send love and prayers to our family, especially my cousin Charnice, who unfortunately did lose her life. And I'm just so grateful that something that was so traumatic and just horrific turned into a platform being built for women to share their stories and for it to be an outlet. And also, I want to go back to you expressing you going on to TV shows and talk shows at a young age and essentially being exploited in a sense because you were kicked out of high school and then you go on this television show where you're getting an introduction to media and the industry, and they're asking you tough questions. So what was going through your mind during that time as a young teenager?
Wow. As a young teenager, I was mad. I was mad as hell. I was so angry that the school had the audacity to kick me out. I was an honor student. It was a Catholic high school. My parents had paid tuition all 4 years. And they asked me, and I told the truth. And I thought that the truth would set me free. I thought the truth was not going to harm me. When they asked me, "Are you pregnant? We're getting reports that you're married and you're pregnant." And I told the truth. And I was so angry. And if you see the clip, the Donahue clip, we're going to play it. You're going to see I was angry. I was mad. But more than anything, I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed that I had disappointed my parents, that they had invested all of this in me.
Carla Jenkins is next to you. Carla is 18. You're 8 months pregnant, Carla?
Yes.
And you got married, didn't you?
Yes.
So obviously the father of your child is determined to raise this baby and to love you, and you have lots of high hopes for the future, do you?
Yes, we both do.
Now, you should also know this. Maybe some of you in the audience are familiar with this kind of, I think Carla would call this discrimination. You were denied participation in all your senior class activities, including graduation.
Yes.
She sued. She sued. But you lost. She lost the suit. You got your diploma, or you will get your diploma, or you did?
I received my diploma.
But you couldn't participate in the graduation exercise.
Right. I just wanted to make one thing clear. I didn't lose the lawsuit. The lawsuit is still in the process. I lost the temporary restraining order to participate in graduation and prom.
The judge refused to delay the order by the school that prohibits you from participating in senior activities.
Right.
I get it. What? She's, hang on a minute. I just want to make sure. Yeah, I won't drop her. Just now, your baby's getting real active on me here. What did you say?
I don't understand why they didn't let you go. You're not that big. You're not showing a lot. Why didn't they let you walk up there?
What is it?
Even if she was big, it has nothing to do with her graduating. She worked her buns off.
Yes, she did. But if you're the mother of a third grader, do you want her coming in all high and up there?
Why hide it? Why hide it? She sees it out in the street.
It might make it look like a glamorous thing to do for a child that age.
I was so bothered by that. And all I wanted to do was make them proud. So my father-in-law is an attorney, and he sued. We sued the archdiocese, the judge, and nothing happened. But years later, that same judge was found guilty of bribery charges from many different areas. So it was kind of like karma. It was years later, but I still felt a sense of, yes, I knew it wasn't just us that was being mistreated, but I really was. I was embarrassed. I was disappointed in myself, and I felt like I had let my parents down.
Which is understandable. Being so young, you're taking on a lot of responsibility of a new family, a new household, as well as at that time, at such a young age, going through something like that can be very overwhelming. But nonetheless, we're here today, and all your daughters are successful, and you made both your parents proud, and you made up for it. So that's all that matters. You made up for it. The judge got their karma. How did it feel being on Oprah's show when she was just first starting out, and now she has the entire so much success and just the empire that she's built? So how did that feel at the time? What was that like in the early building stages of her career?
During this time, Illinois had a high teenage pregnancy rate. So I was just one in a sea of many who was asked to, talk about this and things like that, being a teenage mom. And some of the portrayals were not positive. Some of them were, which kind of, I think, really touched my soul and made me have a purpose was that, you're going to be poverty stricken. You're probably going to be divorced within 3 years after being married. You were going to be on public aid all of your life, and you are not going to do anything with your life. And those were some of the things that I felt it was my duty to break that stigma. I really worked hard. I carried that stigma, that pain for many, many years, trying to, make sure that that wasn't my story. Right after high school, I went into nursing. My mom said, I go to school to be a nurse. They have 2-year programs, associate degree programs. So in Chicago, I went to Kennedy King College, right on the south side of Chicago, and I got my associate's degree in nursing. Went to the same school my mom went to. Shout out to Kennedy King. Shout out to my mom and my dad. But my mom was really my driving force. She's a nurse. And I went there, and she said, you want to be independent. She said, you are a teenage mother. You are a teenage wife. If something would ever happen, you need to be able to take care of yourself and your child. And so that's what I did. And I haven't looked back since. I've kept going in nursing, but it was really that stigma that I felt. I felt less than. I felt like the world was judging me. So I made it my business, like more than half of my life, to just keep pursuing degrees, to keep doing this, to keep doing that, so I would not be that stigma that everybody thought I would be.
And that's such a heavy weight to carry because it was never your responsibility to carry that in the first place. And I'm sorry that the world put that weight on your shoulders, especially at such a young age. Congratulations! You beat all the. Now, how long have you and Dad been married? 8 years. So one, that's beating that stigma. What was the other
Poverty.
Beat that one. What was the other one?
More kids out of wedlock, and just having a bunch of kids, being poor.
You have your master's degree.
Yeah.
So you did it, Mom. You did it, and I'm so proud of you. And that is why we're here today with Carla's channel, Heart to Heart Inspiration, and that is all it is about, just beating the odds. And you recently going back to Atlanta for your recent conference that you was the keynote speaker for. You had talked about what it takes to come out of survival mode. And so back then, it's clear that all those emotions that you were feeling, they were overwhelming, and you wanted to beat these statistics, and you wanted to beat the odds, and you wanted to make something of yourself. And you basically, would you say you were in survival mode during that time?
Yes.
So when do you feel like you finally came out of it?
When I was going for a position in nursing, and I just felt something. It was an ordinary interview I was going for, working so many side jobs so that my children could have everything. My husband, he was working. All of our children, we put them in basketball. We were paying AAU fees. We were doing this, doing that. And we were literally in survival mode. I was interviewing for a position in nursing, and I said, I got a feeling that something else is going to happen when I go for this interview. I have been a nurse for a long time. I have a lot of knowledge. I just feel, I didn't know what it was, but I just felt like something bigger was going to happen. And when I went for that interview, the sister, the nun, she looked at me and my resume. She said, I want you to be my assistant director of nursing. There's something about you. And I said, really? She said, yes, you are a leader, and I want you as my assistant. And that was the moment then that I knew, first of all, I didn't know what it was, but down the line a little bit, I started recognizing that I could manifest things. And I had that intuition, and I started believing in myself because somebody believed in me. And that started that road of nursing leadership for me, of going for my bachelor's, going for my master's, and then climbing the ladder in nursing leadership, but also doing other things that, not side jobs, not hustle jobs anymore, but things like this that really make me feel whole. And that's when I knew that I was thriving. I didn't put a name to it at that time, but I just knew I was in survival mode. We were in survival mode, doing whatever we had to do for our children to keep a roof over their heads and to keep the bills paid. And it was a struggle. It was a struggle. But once I entered that next phase, and it's not always just about money or title or things like that, but it was just the confidence that I had in me finally, that I have arrived, that I am much more than that 17-year-old girl.
Well, I'm really glad that you were able to have that job opportunity present itself to you. You trusted your intuition. And shout out to that nun, because she was able to speak life into you, and it was just a snowball effect after that. So what is something you would encourage guests who may be in survival mode?
I would encourage guests to just take a moment to breathe. Just breathe, because I know when I was in survival mode, I was just going, 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 going. It seemed like I was never taking a break. It seemed like I could never rest because I always had something to do, whether it was with the kids, clean the house, with the husband, something, working a second job, a third job. I was just going, going, going. So first of all, I would say just breathe. Take a minute for yourself, to just say, it's okay if I sit here in the bed. It's okay if I take a nap. It's okay. And then say, what is it that I really want to do for myself? Is it that I want to, go for a different job, or if I want to start a hobby, or if I want to spend more time with my grandkids, I want to travel, whatever it is, just think about it and write it down. The Bible says, write it down, write the vision and make it plain. And if you do that, I truly believe this with all my heart. When you write it down, it's a piece of your soul saying, I'm committed to this. And it may not happen right away. It may take some years for it to happen, but that's your journey that you've started on. And that's what I would say. Breathe, then think about it, write it down, and write it what you want it to look like.
I like that you said that sometimes coming out of survival mode and resting looks like taking time for yourself, and it might be just sleeping the day away. It might look like cooking a meal and just, enjoying your own company, your own home, or spending time with your family, things like that. Obviously, no, not laying in the bed all day like that, but just in terms of resting your mind, body, and your soul, especially with hustle culture that seems to be trending right now, and people don't realize that they're in survival mode because they say, oh, I'm getting to the bag, or, I got to keep going, I got to keep hustling. But that's also survival mode, and that's not healthy because you're not tending to your garden and taking care of your physical and your mental and your spiritual health. So that is a good way to come out of survival mode. Even like Carla said, even if it doesn't happen overnight, but it's a step in the right direction to where you just take a day for yourself. And if you don't have a day, then you take 30 minutes for yourself.
That's right.
Or you take an hour for yourself, or 3 hours, whatever that may look for your schedule. But I really like that idea that you presented.
Isn't she good, y'all? Talking about hustle culture and all this stuff, these words I never heard of. That's what this young generation will do for you.
Well, thank you, Carla, so much for your insight and just all of your inspiration that you've been pouring into others through your channel, through people who meet you on a day-to-day basis. And I'm just so grateful to be your daughter. I'm glad that God blessed me to be your daughter and part of this family. And what is something new that people can expect from you? So you already said that in the fall you'll be going back to Atlanta for another conference. Yes. So what's something else that we can look forward to seeing you prosper in?
Well, thank you so much for asking. I have an amazing ebook out. It is free. It's a digital starter guide from surviving to thriving, and you can download it. It's free. You can look at it on your phone, your computer. But I also have another women's conference coming up in July.
Yay!
It's going to be a virtual From Surviving to Thriving Part 2. It's going to be virtual July 25th. More information is coming out about it because we want to spread the word.
We'll see you next week, Heart Nation.
Bye, Heart Nation.